It's been shown to reduce your lifespan, and research has shown that it's actually worse than obesity. There is a clear difference between loneliness and social isolation. Loneliness is actually a really common, normal emotion. You can be isolated but not necessarily feeling lonely, and you can also be around lots of people but you can still be feeling lonely. When you're talking about data and facts and the research that's been done, predominantly it's looking at chronic or long-term loneliness, which we know can have a serious impact on your health. So there are some very alarming statistics in the UK that, for instance, that there are 9 million people that often or always feel lonely. There's around 200,000 older people who've reported that they go longer than a month without speaking to a friend or a relative. And of course, more recently, we've heard about younger people, so the 16 to 24-year-old age group, who were talking about how they feel more often and how they feel the feeling more intensely as well. I guess the most well-known sort of statistic is that actually it's been shown to reduce your lifespan. So it's actually as bad for you as the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and research has shown that it's actually worse than obesity, which for a long time we thought of as a high risk factor. From a loneliness point of view, it's a really interesting time for us. We're seeing over the last few weeks and months real changes in conversations around loneliness. There has been some recent research that's come out by ONS, and that has shown that working age adults are actually an increased risk of lockdown loneliness. And out of the people that were surveyed, there was actually 7.4 million people that they reported that their well-being had been affected by loneliness. From our point of view as an organisation, and we've seen increasing conversations, but also seen people with different experiences. New parents who have talked about how they feel less socially isolated. They feel like they've got something in common with everybody. They're at home, they have to access these things digitally, they're getting invites for pub quizzes and virtual meetups, and are feeling like for the first time, for a long time since they've been a single parent, that they've really got a social life again. And the same, we've spoken with people who have got disabilities as well. Someone we spoke to the other week is a wheelchair user and actually finds the built environment quite challenging. And at the moment is doing online courses and visiting art galleries and zoos, and from the comfort of her own home. But obviously we do need to acknowledge that there's a huge amount of social suffering. The first thing is acknowledging it. Loneliness is usually a very normal, common emotion. So at a personal level, particularly now if you're feeling that, identify what you need. We're all different. We all need different levels of social contact. What areas of your relationships and your connections are missing, and where can you think into that? And then take some action. How can you talk to your friends, talk to your family, see whether you can link in with some other groups, maybe volunteer. The other important thing to say is that it's looking out into the community. Who in your neighbourhood, who in your network at the moment may be experiencing higher levels of loneliness, not just now during the pandemic, but ongoing. Are there people that maybe need that extra support? Can you pop along and go and have a chat? Can you reach out to people and show that you do care?
something about just like planting something with someone and building something with someone facilitates kind of getting to know the people around you a little bit better, which I think is essential to dealing with issues of race. We have to see what the commonalities are between us, and that often happens when we're in shared spaces. The CHOP is the Capitol Hill Occupy protest. The police left this zone, and we wanted to maintain this location in order to protest for the goals of the Black Lives Matter movement. The message of CHOP when it comes to police brutality is that communities can protect ourselves.
We've got community gardens, we've got 2 kitchens, we've got multiple first aid stations. You know, any conflicts that have occurred, we've handled expeditiously, and we've maintained the peace. Something that the police couldn't seem to do without killing people.
We got peppers, we got tomatoes, we got kale. This bed is the bed that we left just for Black and Indigenous folks to bring their knowledge. And in the corner over there, we have a Three Sisters planting, which is corn, beans, and squash. After studying urban sustainability and working in the city and working in policy surrounding these issues, I really decided to take time to travel. Spent time with my hands in the dirt, with my hands in the water, doing aquaponics. And that's really given me a sense of the ability for humans to connect to nature and the healing power of that. So it just seemed natural for me to build gardens.
All the names that happened in Washington State alone, and these are the ones that were recorded. Imagine the ones that was not.
Black Lives Matter's organizers are doing their best to kind of educate the people here on what it really means to organize. Those organizers in the Central District and the South End have been doing work for years. And they don't have the time to come here and organize this whole birth of a new protest experiment that's happening here. It's not on them to do that. It's on us to show them that we are worthy of respect.
Number 1, defund SPD by 50%.
Yeah. I find it interesting for me to see an area that has been highly gentrified, taken over and occupied, and for these people to experience what it's like to be occupied and to deal with issues of being displaced. Because that's something that down in the Central District, people are feeling every day. White individuals who have good jobs, who can pay a lot of money to buy these houses, taking
in this
over
video,
what
I'll
was
show
once,
you how to
what
set
is
up
their
and manage
heritage.
live streams in YouTube's live control room. We've built a brand new stream
It's been a while
workflow.
since I've been able to feel like really strong emotions about, about change. I think just going through this movement and feeling everyone just come out together and want to see change has allowed me to kind of deal with some inner issues and turmoil surrounding this and actually feel that emotion, feel that pain. Having the ability to cry about this, to friends and really express that emotion has been great, and it's been healing for me. The power of gardening and changing lives